Welcome to the TA Boyz podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify. Check us out every Monday at 7 p.m. Now, let's hang out with the boys.
What's going on, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to the TA Boyz podcast. I am riding solo as of right now. I actually have, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm actually going to be live with my buddies in TA Avenue over there at Tigers Avenue. So, about 5 minutes live with them. I don't know if we can hear those guys or not. Give me one second. Yeah, I thought we could hear those guys over there. They got some stuff going on. Sorry about that. Had some technical difficulties. We are back, though. All right, we're back. Jeremy is at work this weekend, and I'm riding solo as of right now. So thank you guys for checking us out here live on Facebook and on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. It's going to be a fun show. Let me throw this up here, change my background so y'all can read this. Mom, we're fighting for you. So fight for Kim. Mom's going through some stuff right now, but we're here fighting for you and we're supporting you as always. So just know that we're in support with you. We're here, here in your corner. So, but yeah, I got some guys who's over in their podcast right now. In about 3 minutes, we're gonna be live. My buddies over at Zach and Reagan Lee. We're gonna be hitting them up here in just a minute. So, but in just a few seconds, we'll catch over with them. So, but I just want to shout out Zach and Reagan real fast. They're the ones that helped me get started on this podcast. And then Jeremy jumps in and he's here for us. So I just want to give a big shout out to them and what they're doing. It's kind of throwing me off today because I can hear them on their podcast and we're live on both. So a little something different. But yeah, we're going to jump in a second on some college football predictions like we always do. Last week you had Texas upset Alabama. Ole Miss was out against Tulane. State pulled out of OT, win against Arizona. We had a bunch of good games last week. This week, we're for sure going to talk about the Mississippi State football team that is not here. We're going to touch base with them. LSU because my favorite Tigers knew they're big LSU fans. So, in just a few minutes, we're going to go over that. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and on Spotify. And we're about to jump in with them as soon as they just let you know. It's kind of hard to get a podcast going by yourself. So, but I'm just waiting on those guys to let me know when they're ready. So, we're going to hit up every college game, like I said. First off, we're going to hit off that LSU Mississippi State game. We're going to run through it and going to roll through and finish out the day so everybody can watch game day stuff. So, all right. So, if we are about to add in our guys over at Tigers Avenue in just a couple seconds. So, waiting for them to give me the cue. Hang on.
Let's bring fears in.
Hang on. Let me bring my boys in first. What's going on, guys?
What's up, JP?
How y'all doing?
We're doing good. How are you?
Oh man, doing great.
It's another
I gotta
Saturday.
I gotta
Oh,
ask.
the Dion. Oh, the
Yeah, he's got the
Dion.
Dion look going.
Sir, gotta have the glasses on for this, boys.
Hey, take your hat off and your sunglasses off when you're talking to me, Swore.
No, sir. No,
You better
sir.
take them sunglasses off. Man,
I gotta ask, what do y'all think about Colorado State being game day?
Where
I'm
else
all
would
for
they go?
I'm
That's
all
a good
for
point.
it. I'm all for it.
Oh, Reagan's for it. Okay, wow.
I am all for it, especially with what has unfolded this week between the Colorado State coach and the Buffaloes being offended by what he said. I don't know what kind of idiotic brain this guy's carrying around between his ears to make a statement like, I take my hat off and my glasses off when I talk to someone. That's what my mama taught me. Like, how dumb do you have to be to just add fuel to the fire?
That's right.
For Dion's
Bro, you know they're about to run it up on them, and it's going to be
They're
like no
gonna
mercy.
run it all over them. I mean, Shador, Weaver, Jimmy Horn, Travis Hunter, Dylan Edwards. It's going to be an absolute massacre, and it's at Boulder. It's in Boulder.
Yep.
It's gonna
It's going to be bad. JP, thanks for joining the podcast, bro. I got to ask,
Thanks
though,
for joining mine.
yeah, we're joining each other's. It's a little weird. So I've got to ask JP. I got to ask first off. Obviously, we're going to preview this matchup, LSU versus State.
Yeah.
Now, look, you're an Ole Miss fan, but your brother is a big State fan. That's why
right.
I wanted to bring y'all on. He was unable to join us this morning, so you got to, I guess, kind of preview this a little bit out of your, brother's lenses as a State fan for us.
Yeah.
So, why don't you give us a first take on this LSU State game?
Well, LSU started off a little rocky this year, as we both know. Y'all finally joined that win column last week.
for sure.
State's only beat LSU in Starkville once in this century. LSU is a 9-point favorite. So I'm going to do the justice, and I might make some people upset, and that's fine. And that's fine, right? But Hail State on this game day today.
Whoa!
The Bulldogs are going to upset the LSU Tigers in Starkville today.
I will say this: the 9-point spread is a surprise to me. I would bet the Bulldogs to cover, but I will not take the Bulldogs outright. I think these 11 a.m. kicks in Starkville have always been close games. The last time we played in Starkville 2 years ago, it was an 11 a.m. kick, and it was a 3-point ball game. The interesting thing in this game, here's like the storyline of this game to me, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong or what you think the storyline is. But Mike Leach passes away. Obviously, Mike Leach is the author of the air raid offense. Now Zach Arnett is their head coach, and the air raid offense has left Mississippi State in Mike Leach's passing. And now Zach Arnett seems to be a very run-heavy offense so far. Against Arizona last week, Will Rogers only threw the ball 17 times. He was 13 for 17 last week. And I know they ran the ball a lot against Southeastern Louisiana. I don't know off the top of my head how many times he threw it against Southeastern Louisiana. But I know for a fact that Will Rogers has not passed 40 attempts this year in the passing game in 2 games. Whereas under Mike Leach, he would have thrown the ball 40 times in 1 game. And it seems to be a very run-heavy offense, but LSU is absolutely its weakest in the secondary.
Yep.
Our secondary is our Achilles heel right now. It is the clear issue and problem of this team. So I am curious to see, will Zach Arnett and the Mississippi State Bulldogs stick with their heavy run game, or have they watched the film Will they make adjustments, and will they throw the ball a lot more, considering how poor LSU's secondary has been playing? And I want to get both your thoughts on this. Zach, give me your thoughts first, and then JP, if you'll follow up on that. What are your thoughts on today's offensive game plan for State? Do they stick with what they've been doing, or do you think we see something different?
I honestly think we see something different. Obviously, week one, not a big matchup. They had kind of a tough matchup last week, having to go against Arizona, go into overtime. I still think there was some stuff being held back from this offense that they're going to show today. We know that Will Rogers is fully capable of being able to throw the ball. We watched him last year. He's phenomenal at knowing when to throw the football. Timing, he's really good at his timing on throwing the football. And, against a secondary that has mightily struggled this year so far for LSU, it definitely worries me. And I think, obviously, if you're a smart coach, you understand that LSU's weakness is the secondary, so you attack that weakness, right? So I fully expect we're going to see a lot more pass attempts. I think you will see the most pass attempts for Will Rogers than in one single game than you have in the last two. In this game than you have in the last two. So I fully expect Mississippi State to try and exploit LSU's weakness. But the biggest thing for me, for LSU to counter that is, and I said it previewing Florida State, I said it even before Grambling, LSU has got to get home on the pass rush. They have to. They have to get pressure. They have to get Will Rogers down, take him down, in order to help this secondary out. They didn't do it against Florida State. They started off looking horrible against Grambling.
They didn't really get much pass rush against Grambling either. They had one sack, and I think it was in like the fourth quarter.
Sack.
That's horrible.
They had one sack, and that was Jordan Jefferson. It wasn't even one of your starting guys. So, you have to be able to get a pass rush in the SEC. And so to counter that, it's going to be a big task for Mississippi State to be able to hold up against LSU's defensive line. But LSU, so far, they haven't proven yet that they can get home.
Yeah.
JP, what do you think?
I don't think they shy away of what they've been doing. I think they're still going to run the ball, but don't be shocked if they start testing the waters a little bit. I say they start off what they do. They're going to run, say they get second and one. I'm going to try to test the waters on their DBs and see what happens. But I think they're still going to stick true to who they are this season. I believe they're still a defensive mindset like they've always been, especially under their new head coach. But I think they're going to still do their thing. But if they test the waters for sure, and it gets to a point where y'all's DBs can't handle it, then we're going to get into let's just keep the ball in Will's hands and let's keep throwing that thing. So,
and you know what? I'll be honest, JP. I am right there with you. I think it will. We will see the offense of Mississippi State adjust based on what happens early. Like you're going to try and establish your run game. Yep. And once Mississippi State does that, if they have success in the run game, I think you're spot on there. I think they'll test it and push the ball because as soon as you establish a run game and your linebackers and are anticipating run, your coverage is anticipating run, they're already peeking in the backfield. That's when you run a play action and then you burn them, which can definitely happen. So I'm right there with you. I think they still stick with the run game pretty heavily, but if they have success early with the run game, I think they're going to go to the pass game pretty quickly and try to use all thirds of the field to exploit LSU's weakness. But all right, JP, what you got for us?
Yeah, so I'm going to hit up on, like we always do. I don't know if you guys check us out every week. Hopefully you guys do. But we just run through the top 25 games of the week, of the weekend and stuff like that. Give each prediction, and then we'll hit up on the game day, which is in Boulder, Colorado, Deion Sanders.
Absolutely.
We'll hit up that at the very end. So first game is first, and we're going to hit up on number 3 Florida State playing Boston College. Y'all have seen a lot of Florida State first week.
Just a little bit.
They got a 24.5 point spread on them. You think they're gonna, of course, win this game? What's y'all's thinking on this?
They're gonna win and cover.
Yeah. Win and cover. Florida State.
I thought I heard an echo there for a second, but
Florida State is a legitimate national championship contending team, and there's no question that I think they win the ACC outright. I think the only competition they have in the ACC is North Carolina. I don't think Clemson's that much of a threat, and I think they're going to run through the ACC and be in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. Next one, these are all of our 11 o'clock games I'm hitting up first. Next one we have is number 7 Penn State facing Illinois. Penn State's got a 14-point spread on it. Penn State looks good in my opinion. I know they haven't faced a lot of people right there, but they look very, very good this season so far.
This one's at Illinois, so I think it'll be a little bit interesting. I know Illinois, not a strong team, but Penn State having to go on the road, this I think will be their toughest test of the season so far because I don't think they've played anybody in the first 2 games. I'm trying to look it up now. I'm pretty sure they've played pretty much just 2 cupcakes before this Illinois game. So this will be probably the biggest test for them this season, having to go on the road. I think that's probably why you see a little bit closer spread. You're like close spread. I mean, it's 14 points, but if this is at Penn State, expect a much bigger spread, but I fully expect Penn State maybe to struggle a little bit early and then pull away.
Give me Penn State in this, and I'll even say they cover. I think Penn State is the biggest threat to Michigan this year in the Big Ten. I think Ohio State's sitting in 3rd place this year by the end of the year in the Big Ten. So I'll take Penn State over Illinois, and I think they cover.
Yep. Next, we got number 15 Kansas State on the road facing Missouri. It's only a field goal, looks like, so far. Missouri's last top 15 win at home was in 2010 against Oklahoma. Wow. Do you think they're going to do it again? Do you think we have an upset today in Missouri?
I think it might be close, but I will be interested to see how they play Kansas State, because obviously LSU is going to see Missouri later on this year. We have to go to Missouri. This game is also at Missouri, so it'll be interesting to see how they play against, their best competition that they've seen so far. They've struggled a little bit with these cupcakes. So how do they do against the number 15 team in the country will be interesting. I do believe they lose, and I would say that Kansas State covers.
I'll take Kansas State. Kansas State in the last 2-3 years has really made some noise in the Big 12, and I've really liked what they've been doing lately. I'll take Kansas State over Mizzou.
Nice. Next we have, and I'm just going to skip some games until we just get some highlights. I know you guys got to get back to y'all's podcast and stuff. We got South Carolina on the road facing number 1 Georgia.
I think this is going to be closer than the 27 point.
Absolutely.
South Carolina, I mean, it almost feels like, they won obviously on the season. They didn't play a great game against North Carolina, game 1. But I still feel like this team is dangerous. Like, I still feel like they have the ability to pop off against somebody. Is it this week against Georgia on the road? Probably not. But I definitely think South Carolina covers the spread. I think this is closer than Georgia is happy with because they're still in that phase of trying to figure, Carson Beck's still trying to figure things out. I mean, I fully believe he's a good quarterback. I'm not saying he's bad by any means, but Georgia's still in kind of that figuring out phase after having to losing everybody from last year that won the national championship. So, and South Carolina, they're more established with who they have, the guys that came back. So you're going to have a little bit more chemistry leaning on South Carolina's side, I think. But I ultimately believe Georgia wins this game.
Yeah.
I'll kind of echo the same thing. I think Georgia wins, but I think it's a much closer game than the spread is showing. I don't think Georgia is what they've been. I do not think Georgia wins the national championship again this year. They just don't look the same without Stetson Bennett, which is something you would expect. I mean, you lose a quarterback like Stetson Bennett, it's going to look different. I think Carson Beck is a little inexperienced, and the defense isn't exactly the same. The defense is really good, don't get me wrong, but it's not, just dominant like it has been. And
Right.
the offense, like the thing you can rely on the most with Georgia is giving the ball to Brock Bowers. And that's about the only thing that's been really consistent for Georgia. But I think this is a close game. I think Georgia wins, but I don't think Georgia even wins the East this year.
No. Yeah, I agree for sure. I mean, South Carolina has only won one game against Georgia since Sperry retired. That was in 2019. So, yeah, I think Georgia will pull it out. But like you said, I don't think they're not the Georgia team we've been seeing over the past couple of years. So I don't think that I don't think it's going to be even a matchup for sure. Next, we got Alabama on the road against South Florida. Alabama got upset by Texas last week. How do they come back? This is their first game against a non-Power 5 team, and I don't know how long, I feel like. So, obviously, they're probably going to win because they're Alabama and they're facing a terrible team. But how do they bounce back? They got a new quarterback today. So, they have their backup starting.
Tyler Buckner. Yeah.
Yeah. What y'all thinking? Roll Tide.
You know what I think.
I think Alabama. I mean, it's a 34-point spread. That's a really big spread. I mean, I understand South Florida's like not good. Like, I understand that, but 34 points and they're on the road in South Florida. I think Alabama beats them pretty handily, but I think it's more like a 28-point spread.
Okay. Yeah. I love this. Is so much fun for me. I don't know for y'all. Hopefully y'all feel the same way. But it is so wonderful to watch Alabama, number one, lose at home in Tuscaloosa, Texas. Although I hate Texas, they both could have lost. I'd have been happy.
Yeah.
But to watch Bama lose at home, and number two, they have quarterback problems. They can't figure out who their quarterback is. It's a lot of fun to watch this from an Alabama team. And you're telling me that the same offensive coordinator from Notre Dame and the same quarterback from Notre Dame last year at Notre Dame that lost to Marshall is going to come to Alabama and be any better than Jalen Milroe last week? Please. It's going to be the same type stuff. It's going to be the same stuff. It's going to look not top tier. It's not going to look what you're used to with Alabama, and it's going to be like that all year long. I told Zach and Dad before the season, they don't have a quarterback like they're used to. They don't have the weapons on the outside like they're used to. They don't have a running back like they're used to.
Yeah.
And their defense isn't as good as they're used to. This is not the dominant Alabama team that we are used to seeing in the Saban era. They're lacking weapons. And they're lacking dominance on the defensive side, and I freaking love it. So,
is this the new Alabama that we're have to get used to?
I wouldn't say it's
because everybody's either transferring or they're not going to Bama. People are going to LSU or Ole Miss. Yeah. They're going to Texas,
Colorado.
I would
it's
say
not about who you play or where you play. It's about who you play for.
I would say that after this year, the two quarterbacks, Milroe and Buckner, I don't think either of them remain in Alabama.
No.
I don't think either of them remain in Alabama.
If Milroe does, he'll be a running back.
I think they get like a veteran quarterback that's really good out of the portal, and he plays 1 year for them next year, and then they bring along Ty Simpson or Eli Holstein. Yeah. They're young guys because Eli Holstein and Ty Simpson, I think, have some serious talent and can be really good for Alabama, but they're not. I don't think they're there yet.
Not ready yet.
Yeah. All right, let me get three more out of you guys, and I'm going to let you guys go.
Yeah, sure.
Number 11, Tennessee, on the road against Florida. Tennessee has not won in the swamp in 20 years.
Tennessee,
they're winning today in the swamp.
Tennessee by 20.
What is 5.5?
I don't know about 20. I don't know about 20 because I was not impressed with Tennessee last week, and I haven't been impressed with Florida at all this season.
Oh, no.
I do think Tennessee wins here in the Swamp. But I think it's going to be close because I'm not. I think they're both. I think Tennessee's a little bit above, like subpar. They might eventually like come along. Like Tennessee may eventually come along and be a lot better team. I think they have that ability. I am not impressed with Florida, and I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of improvement. I mean, you'll see some, obviously. That's what happens with every college football team as the year progresses. But I think Florida's going to be, probably an 8-4 or worse team. And I think this is one of those losses to Tennessee.
Yeah, I definitely think Tennessee's winning this game. Let me look at something real quick before I make this statement. Tennessee hasn't really played much competition yet. Obviously, and last week, look, Austin Peay is a good team. Austin Peay is a solid team. So I don't think they're a better team than Virginia is, in my opinion, and that's the other team Tennessee has played. Okay, so Tennessee has to play Georgia, or Georgia has to play Tennessee in Knoxville this year.
Yep,
and that to me is huge for them, and I think they win the SEC East because of that, for that sole reason.
Yeah.
I think the only competition for the SEC East is between Tennessee and Georgia, and if it was in Sanford, I would say Georgia's your SEC East champion, but it's in Knoxville. So give me the Vols to win the SEC East this year, and I think they beat Florida today by at least 2 touchdowns.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. Next one, we got Georgia Tech on the road versus number 17 Ole Miss. I will be at that game tonight. Trey Harris is out, and Judkins is questionable.
Wow.
Ooh.
Game time.
Maybe that's why it's a 16-point spread.
Yeah. And, I mean, this is the first time that we've played Georgia Tech in Mississippi. We've played them. So I think we pull it out. I think we're still struggling on the run game.
That has been very surprising to me.
Very surprising. Everybody's got our number this year. So what y'all thinking on that?
I think Ole Miss ultimately wins this game. They may end up still covering the spread, even if Harris and Judkins aren't playing. I still think they have that ability to beat. Georgia Tech's not good. They're just not a good team. I mean, are they a Power 5 team? Yes, but they're not a good team. I think Ole Miss should be able to win this one pretty handily. They might be even to cover the spread. I would assume that Ole Miss wins this by 3 touchdowns or more.
I'm with Zach on this. The only thing I will say for Ole Miss fans, I will say this: they are better than they were last year.
Yeah,
Georgia Tech is better than they were last year. Georgia Tech last year was just horrible. I mean, just horrible. They fired that coach. They hired, their offensive coordinator. They promoted him to head coach. And the way he finished the season last year, they were really impressed with him. So ultimately decided to hire him. I watched the Georgia Tech game against Louisville, and they ended up losing the game to Louisville. But early on in that game, they showed some major flashes in their offense. And I don't know if y'all know this or not, but Haynes King transferred from A&M to Georgia Tech. So it is a better team than it was last year, and it's significantly better at the quarterback position than last year. But it's in Oxford. So give me Ole Miss to cover the spread and win this game. But I would not be surprised if they made it close. But ultimately, I think Ole Miss is the better team and wins.
Yeah. I feel like we play them close every single year and always find a way to pull it away. So hopefully 6:30 tonight, we're pulling away with that victory. But last one I want to reach at, talked about is game day today. We got Colorado State on the road, not far, going to Boulder, facing Colorado.
Colorado by 50.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Colorado by 50.
Yeah, I think Dion fellas, if you will echo me, it has become what?
Personal.
Personal. It's become personal.
Personal.
They messed around and made it
Personal.
personal. Yeah, I love that. I love that from Dion. You know, he did that last week with Nebraska. I really don't know what happened with the whole Nebraska thing. Something about pregame, midfield, something happened. And go ahead.
Prom has that instinct in him like Michael Jordan did. Like, even if there's nothing there, he's going to create something so that there is a competitive drive in him to demolish his opponent.
It fires me up.
Dude,
it fires me up.
It makes me want to put a Colorado Buffs hat on, man.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I got that far.
Deion Sanders, so they asked him on game day if his ultimate goal was to be in the NFL. Deion Sanders would not be successful in the NFL.
No.
Deion Sanders can be absolutely elite in the college level. Here's why. He is polarizing to high school recruits and college men, like college-age boys. Like the way he talks, the way he carries himself, it is what I think attracts all of these recruits to him.
Yep.
He is a polarizing, and of course, he's Deion Sanders.
Right.
Like, so let's not forget about that. But his personality and his charisma, he is going to out-recruit a lot of teams. Colorado is going to recruit really stinking well, and Deion Sanders is going to have Colorado playing really stinking good for several years to come.
Oh, yeah.
Because of his ability to recruit and because of how polarizing he is. But Colorado State's coach, for whatever reason, decided to take a jab at Deion Sanders and just make matters worse. It could have been like a solid in-state rivalry, Colorado State versus Colorado, but they done messed it around, in the words of Prime, and made it personal. And like Zach said, they're probably going to drop 50 on these folks.
Oh, yeah.
They're
It's going to be a problem. Now, I will say this. At times, their defense is a little shaky, but their offense makes up for where their defense lacks.
Right.
Because they just keep scoring. They just keep scoring. It's also in Boulder, so it's going to be an annihilation. And
it's going to be absolutely insane.
Kept his mouth shut. He should have kept his mouth shut.
Oh, yeah. By far. Yeah, Boulder, beautiful place. I've been there multiple times. And
Really?
it's like 9 o'clock. It's late game. So it's going to be, I think, what is it? Where's the time at it? Yes, 9 p.m. It is a late game for us. So it's going to be wolves howling in the background. And like you said, Deion, for me, if I was a college person, like, heck yeah, I want to go play for Deion, right? Like, it's Deion Sanders. He recruited the #1 defensive back in the country to Jackson State.
Yeah. #1 player, period.
Yes.
Period.
Both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And he is phenomenal. And he goes to Jackson State to play with Deion. Yeah. What else can this guy recruit?
Well, he already landed in the next class, the other #1 DB in the class, in Kamorian McLean. Now, McLean has been hurt this season and hasn't got to play. But there's another elite DB on that team. And when he's healthy, he's going to be playing. Yeah. So, and of course, he went and got that kid out of Kansas, Dylan Edwards, who was like the #1 running back in the state, or the #1 player in the state of Kansas, and now he's one of the key players on their entire offense. In #3, Dylan Edwards, and Travis Hunter is a freak. So 2019 LSU. If you're a college football fan, like, it was must-watch TV. What LSU's offense was doing, you just had to watch it because it was so awesome. Colorado is that same way for me this year.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a college football fan, you're watching that. It's must-watch TV.
Yeah.
So they're going to be exciting to watch all year long. I can't wait for them to get deep into conference play.
And they play Oregon next week.
And UCLA. And, I'm pumped for that.
Yeah. Yeah, the crazy thing about it is last year they could barely even sell tickets to a game. This year, I looked it up. This year, the cheapest ticket for today's game is $200.
Oh my!
The
God,
most
it's sold
expensive
out.
one is over $700, and they are almost sold out.
Yeah.
What is this man doing? And
He's
I
him.
love it.
He's
He is-
him.
He's him.
He's just being him.
That's it.
He's just being
I
himself.
love his antics, man. Like you've been hearing him say bull jump. That is so funny to me. They've been talking that bull jump.
Yep. And my thing is with his son at quarterback, we've been through 2 games, and he is 97 yards away for 1,000 yards passing.
Oh my god!
Shador is a legitimate Heisman contender.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
He's
Legitimate.
probably number 1 over Caleb Williams for sure. Give me
Colorado winning the Natty this year.
Oh my! Whoa!
right
Whoa!
here.
We're bringing the chip.
Whoa! We're bringing the chip to Boulder.
All right,
Listen,
guys.
I don't
JP,
know about that.
I appreciate you guys jumping on with us this
Sure.
morning. Saturday with the boys. I'm without my brother, but I got my 2 other brothers with me
absolutely.
over at Tigers Avenue. Make sure you jump off here. Go check those guys out. Love what you guys do. LSU
Appreciate
fans love you guys as well. We'll see you guys later.
Well, hey,
Appreciate you, JP.
for our viewers that want to listen to the JP, well, I was about to say the JP podcast, the Fears Boys podcast.
That's right.
Boys.
It used to be the JP podcast or whatever
That's
you call it, but now it's the Fears Boys podcast. Y'all go follow them. They're 2 brothers just like us, just talking sports.
That's right.
It's good
All right,
stuff.
guys. We'll check out you guys later. See ya.
See you, JP.
All right, see you, man.
Appreciate you.
Bye. Whew. So that's it, man. I appreciate everybody watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for hanging out with the boys. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify. See you next week.